Every kid in KZN dreams about being Shaka at some point.
Yeah.
My dad is Betty and my mom is Tswana.
Mm-hmm.
So a few people had a problem with that.
What was the most challenging moments?
I remember one scene that we shot, literally the grass was frozen. Every step was just like, because I lost my dad when I was in my mid-20s.
What are some of the emotions that you used for Shaka?
But in my acting, I try not to draw from a lot
Memory,
of my personal experiences. Because, the trauma.
And growing up with your parents being in ministry, pastors, how was that like?
We went to church every day.
Give me two of those things that the Bible taught you.
I think forgiveness is the one that just like compassion, for people.
Hey guys, welcome back to Inside Story with me, Koketsona Lady Motaung. It's a new week, a fresh episode. Today I've got an actor of note. You might know him from the Republic, Shaka Ilembe. His name is Lemogang Tsipa.
Hi, my name is Lemogang Tsipa, and this is my Inside Story.
Thank you so much for coming.
Only a pleasure.
I'm excited to sit down with you and pick your brain.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. Even though I got lost on my way in. That's a story for another day.
Really, for another day?
Well,
why don't we share it?
Okay, so I wasn't aware that there's levels to this place, literally.
Yeah.
And I just strolled into Mapasaga's podcast downstairs with DJ Fefe. And I sat there for hours. And Pasi was like, this is my last one. And I'm like, okay.
Then what am I doing
So
here?
like 40 minutes in, I'm just sitting there like, okay, I guess I'll hang out till I'm done. And my phone's on silent in my pocket. I'm trying to be professional. And then luckily you saw me. And then and then I made it upstairs.
My God. I am so sorry you had to go through that. But
that's fine.
It's actually very funny. It gives us something to talk about.
No, definitely.
Right?
Definitely. I still must have a briefing with them to explain why I said.
Why you were there? They were probably
Because I
thinking.
also just left.
Exactly. They were
Halfway.
probably thinking, this nigga, what are you doing here?
Yeah. 100%.
Anyway, how are you doing today?
I'm very good. I had a little rattle start. It's just actually been quite a bit of a while there. A little rattle start to the start of the day.
Yeah.
Had a small fight with a policeman
Yeah.
about my license disc, which is valid, but not displayed how he would like. But yeah. Well,
And then what happened?
Well, so I don't have a sticker because they don't give them out at garages anymore for some reason. So I've had my license disc since about Feb.
Yeah.
And it's just been on my dashboard. Like I just put it there.
Yeah.
And I don't want to use sellotape because I know it's going to be weak and fall and the aircon. So yeah, anyways, we got into a fight about that.
But you're good now.
I'm here and I never got a ticket, so I'm happy.
Oh, yeah. We're happy too. Yeah. On your way here, what did you bump into?
Besides the cops. Nothing much. I stay actually quite close to here.
Really?
Yeah. It was just onto the highway.
Yeah.
Roadblock and then down onto the bridge, turned across the other bridge and then
now yeah. And you went to the wrong studio.
That was it. And another podcast. That was just police and another podcast.
Yeah.
But other than that.
How have you been taking care of yourself? I mean, you're busy now. Yeah. Shaka Ilembe just came out. And I can imagine the press has been crazy.
Yeah, I've just been trying to sleep where I can, but also sleep's a bit rare because I'm trying to work on things also outside of the space that's kind of the conventional thing people know me for. Been working on music, so sleep has been a rarity, but that's the one thing I'm holding on to take care of myself. Yeah.
What kind of music are you doing? I didn't know you were a musician actually.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
So I started out as a drummer. In church as a young man. I think I started playing drums when I was about 11. And then when I moved out of the house at 17, I started playing in like different bands. I used to play matric dances and like this Afro pop kind of, like all pata pata and all that kind of stuff. And then moved to reggae, moved to rock, moved to soul.
Shucks,
yeah, basically a whole range of stuff. And then I decided to grab a mic and become a rapper first, and then I met this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got bars. Then I met this.
Drop a few bars.
No, I can't.
How about that? I'm joking, man.
I don't know off the top of the dome, but with the pen, I believe in my gift. I met a very talented guy
Mm-hmm.
called Lani Mahlalela, aka Nicey Beats, aka
Yeah.
Ivy Michael. He's got many aliases.
Mm-hmm.
He's a producer and now business partner, a friend of mine. We've been working on a range of music for the past 5 years,
Yeah.
ranging from hip hop to amapiano to R&B to
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
that's Afro pop. And now there's a brilliant guy that joined our team, Siku
Yeah.
Amino, and we've been forging this album for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That is a new genre. I don't know
Mm.
what to name it yet, but that album's gonna
I'm
come out this year.
excited.
I'm very excited
When
for
is
it.
it coming out?
I want to let the show finish first and
Okay.
then
Okay.
begin thinking about it because I also don't want to like I'm itching to put my music out. Like last night I also
Yeah.
recorded this hot song, but
Mm-hmm.
my fear is that if I put it out, people are like, "Lo Shaka Repayo." So I want to kind of allow it to have its space and
You
then
think so
when
too?
it's
But do you really think so? I think people would be
oh
excited.
I think they would be excited, but
Imagine the
there's
controversy. I think that
it
would be
would
nice.
be, but I think there's enough controversy around Lemogang Tsipa
Yeah.
being the Zulu king,
Yeah.
and so I'm not
Let's
trying
talk
to
about the
add to.
controversy. What
Yeah,
controversy is there?
well, my I guess it's my blood
Yeah.
in who I am. But
Yeah.
even though I was born and raised in KZN,
Yeah.
my dad is Betty and my mom is Tswana.
Mm-hmm.
So and my name also gives it away that I'm not like
Yeah.
Zulu, but I was
Yeah.
born and raised 100% there. So a few
Yeah.
people had a problem with that, especially those that didn't know my background. They're just like, "What is
Mm.
happening in the world?
Mm.
How are these Tswanas and Bettys coming into playing the Zulu?" But I mean,
Yeah.
I feel as culturally Zulu as possible because
Mm-hmm.
it's all I know. It's what I was immersed in
Mm.
growing up. But
Mm.
I guess when you read the name, if you don't know the story, it's easy to
Yeah,
jump to
it's
that conclusion.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do it so well. What was the most challenging moments for you playing this character?
Um. Okay, so there's two big things that stand out to me.
Mm-hmm.
One I'm in control of, the other one I'm not.
Yeah.
The one that I'm not in control of, which is the hardest thing, is the weather.
Mm.
We were just saying right now, before I think the cameras rolled, how cold it was.
Yeah.
Imagine shooting outside barefoot, without the jacket, without the pants, just
You're not
a
wearing
piece
anything.
of fabric this big
Yo. Fella, you
that
guys are
doesn't
brave. Yeah.
that doesn't cover much
Yeah.
besides visually, but for warmth it serves no purpose.
Yeah.
Um,
The joys of being an actor.
yeah, it's very tough, and we shoot in the heart of winter here in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
I remember one scene that we shot. Literally, the grass was frozen, so they had to cut the dialogue out in the final version, and they did voiceover because every step was just like
Oh, I can imagine
yeah.
that.
So that's the one thing that's been tough. The other thing was also the language that we use in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us on set, even people that are 100% Zulu, struggled with it because it's
Ancient
like the
language.
Shakespeare
Yeah.
version of the
Oh,
language. It's
Zulu.
not it's not
Yeah.
isiZulu saselokishini, ngeke usho
Yeah.
imfethu, ya bra wami, there's none
Mm.
of that. It's like prim and proper, so
Yeah.
just disciplining the mind and the tongue and getting used to pronouncing words that you don't use on an
Mm-hmm.
everyday basis is a bit of a
Yeah.
challenge, but I think we had a very supportive team that helped us through it.
That's beautiful. Was it a character that you were looking forward to playing?
100%. I think every kid in KZN dreams about being Shaka at some point.
I can imagine.
he's,
I
he's the
can imagine.
superhero of where we come from.
Mm.
He's like, I always make the analogy of if we were in Wakanda, he is the Black Panther.
Yeah.
So it's something that has kind of been in the back of my mind, but it's such a larger than life thing that you don't really imagine it as something that is real. It's like a dream of like, when you're a kid, oh, I'm gonna grow up and marry Beyonce. Yeah, but realistically,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen. So it was kind of in that realm in my mind,
Mm.
but a very amazing blessing to receive and to be given the task of that.
It sounds beautiful, and it sounds like part of yourself as a child. Obviously, it birthed this person sitting here today. So I want to go back to your story when you were younger. How did you grow up? Did you grow up with your mother and father? How was your childhood like?
Yeah, I had a very incredible childhood. Very blessed, rich childhood.
Yeah.
Lived with both my parents my entire life. Okay, not my until I've moved out the house, obviously. But yeah,
And your life is still going.
yeah, and it's still carrying on
Yeah.
right now. and I don't live with my mom.
Mm.
But yeah, in my formidable years, my parents were academics. Dad is he's late now. He was a physicist and a pastor.
Yeah.
My mother was a pastor as well as heavily involved in the medical field. She started out as a nurse, then got her MBA, managed hospitals.
Okay.
So I grew up
Nice
in a
one.
very like middle class, loving family. Two sisters. I'm the only boy in the middle. So
Oh, you're that one. That's
yeah,
why.
yeah, it's
I bet
tricky
your sisters are
because
into corporate and you're the artist.
pretty much. My younger sister though, she did study at a creative school, but she did a business course
Mm.
at the
Okay.
creative school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely the one that kind of veered off a
Yeah.
little bit to
Middle
the
child
left.
syndrome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's paying off now. I think my
Yeah.
mom likes it now.
I
That,
can
yeah,
imagine.
that I
Every
give her a
mother
little
wants
bit
that
of
for their
money
kid.
now, so it's not as bad. When I was struggling, she was
Yeah.
like, "My son, I'm not sure about the accent."
Change
And
careers.
then yeah, once things started getting the pasta started getting green. I think she
Mm.
started warming up to it a bit more.
And when did it start for you? The acting, the music now.
Yeah, so music was as a kid. Music as a professional starting now, kind of.
Yeah.
But the acting for me, I think my first encounter with it was in grade 8.
Mm.
I went to a school that offered drama as a subject, and I was just mind blown by
Mm.
it because I was a
Yeah.
kid who grew up with ADD, so I
Yeah.
could never focus. I was always talkative in class. And this was
Mm.
the one class where talking is like, you can get an
No,
A
it's
for talking. I
allowed.
was like, oh, I love this.
I love that.
And fortunately, I kind of had a natural knack for it. And
Mm.
whenever we did things, my teacher would always make an example out of me. Yeah, you guys should do it. And I'm just there putting me
I
on the
belong
spotlight. I
here.
was like, okay. But
Mm.
it was, as a child, wherever you kind of find validation, I think is
Mhm.
where you gravitate towards. And that was the one class where the teacher really showed a lot of love. Shout out Miss Biddy Wang.
Oh, shout out,
Um,
man.
and then after I finished matric, I was kind of caught between what to do because my older sister at the time, she had passed with all A's, number one in school. She was just like
Ish.
academically that girl.
The pressure.
She's studying actuarial sciences at UCT this time. And
Hi, sis. Bye.
yeah,
It's all
and
right.
yeah, and I'm the coming out of matric, the boy who was also a bit rebellious. I get in trouble
Yeah.
from time to time. She would never be. She was just such a good child,
Mm. Mm.
And then there's that awkward thing of okay, what career? Where are you going? Like, where's
Yeah.
this life thing going? And at the time, I was very passionate about property. I still am. So I
Mhm.
wasn't sure if I was going to go into architecture or property design, but I also had this really strong burning desire for the creative industry.
Yeah.
Um, so I figured, you know what, let me give this creative thing a shot. If it
Mhm.
fails, I'm still young. I
Mhm.
can restudy property and
Mhm.
nobody needs to know.
Yeah.
I tried this acting thing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I went to study, I think in 2010, I did my first year, and then graduated 2012.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I just started working from there. I was just also had a very blessed journey where from when I graduated, I've been constantly, working back to back. Even though the money wasn't good.
Yeah.
It was,
You're
I was,
working back to
it was
back.
barely surviving, but, the gigs and the
Okay.
CV was growing.
Oh.
So, yeah, I've been very blessed with
Yeah,
that.
you've been very blessed. Let's take it a little bit back as well. So, looking at your childhood,
Mm.
what's your earliest childhood memory? Is there a memory that disturbed you, that stayed in your mind,
Mm.
and you suffer? Not really suffer, but you still have, you
Yeah,
carry the residue of that memory when you're
100%.
older.
Bang papa. I've learned to not papa. Because when I think I was 2 or 3 years old. I was
Yeah.
really, really young.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had bought, in my mind, I'm a keep, but it was some form of sweets.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got an older sister, and
Mm-hmm.
my younger sister, I think she wasn't born or my mom was pregnant with her, but I don't remember her
Yeah.
being in the picture. So my older sister she's 2 years older than me. She was like much taller. She was a giant in those days. Um, and my dad was busy dividing these sweets or whatever on the counter, and my sister could see, and I couldn't because of my vertical challenge.
Yeah.
So I decided to grab remember those black push scooters of
Yeah,
kids?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And use that as a ladder, which was not very intelligent.
Yeah.
I slipped and I broke my arm.
Oh no.
And to this day, my right arm's longer than my left arm. I
Oh
had a
no.
cast to ice cream me,
Yeah.
and it crashed. People didn't know how to sign, so I didn't even get signatures. It was just a thing on my arm.
Yeah.
Had to get bathed, and it was just trauma, man.
Yeah.
It's terrible time.
For the record, I can't see it.
No, no, that's why I wear long sleeves. No,
Yeah.
it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but
Yeah.
like I can notice it. It's like
Yeah.
probably a couple of centimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you say that it's something that really affected your mental health as well? Did you have to go to
Yeah, I
therapy or?
think I definitely had a certain level of anxiety around things and a
Mm.
fear of getting injured,
Mm.
which uh, I think in some of the sports that I did, kind of I feel I'd have been a part of the Springboks if that didn't happen. No, I'm not.
Not the acting
No, no,
anymore.
no, no. But
Not
I think,
property.
yeah, I think it did really make me, a little apprehensive in
Yeah.
those contact sports and in those things because I was aware of the pain. It's
Mm.
it's one of those things which kind of sticks with you. Even
Mm.
though I was still a little boy that did all the little boy stupid things, climbing trees or whatever. But I think
Mm.
if I hadn't experienced that, I would have believed I was Superman for much
Mm. You would
longer.
have been braver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And how do you see the residue of that play out in your adult life?
I think in many ways it saved me because also I'm a very impulsive person. I would have
Yeah.
probably gone into sports. I don't know which sport. I remember even combat sports was the thing I've been a fan of for a long time. So I probably could have done something like that,
Mm.
which is also,
Mm.
it's tricky, that one.
Yeah.
Especially at my age, I'd be looking at retirement
Yo,
and, you know what I mean?
exactly.
Things would be bad
And
right
we
now.
wouldn't have Shaka. Can you
Yeah,
imagine?
yeah. I'd have been the real Shaka on the battlefield. Yeah, no, life would have definitely turned out very differently. So in ways, I think it's a blessing, and in ways, obviously, it didn't allow me to kind of fully explore some of the other talents. But I guess I can't complain because I am in a good
Yeah,
position
because
now.
God was pruning you for this one
Yeah,
and redirecting your life
yeah.
to come to this one. What was the hardest thing about losing your father?
The hardest thing about losing him is just realizing he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
There's many times I have vivid dreams where I'm having conversations with him, and then you wake up, and then only about an hour into being awake, I realize, okay, no, he's not. I can't phone him.
Mm.
So it's just very tough to know that you don't really have that one person that you can rely on for anything, because parents are those figures in your life where no matter how tough life gets, no matter how, yeah, whatever corner you're in, they are the last kind of
Mm.
barrier
Yeah.
of protection that you have. So knowing that I've lost one of those people it's very tough. And growing up as a man, because I lost my dad when I was in my mid 20s.
Yeah.
There's certain things like I want to get married now, and there's all
Mm.
of these things where I wish I had him as a bouncing board
Yeah.
to kind of speak to about
Mm.
certain things. But it's a part of life, and yeah, I'm glad it happened when I was an adult because I think as a kid it would have been a lot tougher to
Mm.
handle. Not that it's easy as an adult, but
Yeah.
I think uh, it happened when I was at least on my own 2 feet and not still trying to find myself in life as
Mm.
much.
Mm. I get that.
Yeah.
And what are some of the emotions that you think you felt at the time during the loss that you used for Shaka? Because Shaka
Mm.
experiences a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
rejection,
yeah, yeah.
right? And he
Definitely.
becomes a brute of a man. And I think some of it is because of this rejection, right?
Mm.
So,
I think it's just the pain of losing him because we had a great relationship up until his last day.
mm.
So I couldn't really use that because Senzang Akona and him and Shaka are not
Not the
really
same,
good
not
friends.
similar.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not on the same page. So I
Yeah.
couldn't really use that part of our relationship. But I think the pain of the loss of that, that disconnect between you and this figure that you kind of adore and really look up to.
Mm.
I draw from that because to some extent Shaga lost his dad before his dad died.
Mm.
The very fact that he had rejected him and cut him off is
Mm.
kind of, yeah, I kind of draw from that a bit. But in my acting, I try not to draw from a lot of my
Memory,
personal
yeah.
experiences
Mm.
because the trauma also having to
Right?
having to relive
Yeah.
certain things. And for me, when I was in film school, was around the time Heath Ledger died, and I kind of learned to fictionalize the
Mm.
emotions and the source
Make
of
up the
them. But then,
character,
yeah,
yeah.
the only thing you have to convince is the camera. Is what I learned from that lesson. And I don't like drawing from my own personal traumas because I don't want to end up.
You're
I don't want
exactly
to
in
kill
a mental
myself. Yeah,
institution.
I want to enjoy my life, man. Imagine I'm a millionaire and I'm hanging out. Yo, I can't even enjoy the money. Yo.
Yeah. Because it is re-traumatizing
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah, definitely to some extent. And I
Yeah.
think, it's one of those things which is I'd love to go to therapy for it, but I don't know if therapists also understand fully what it is we do,
Mm.
because it's one of those things. When I have conversations with fellow actors, they kind of can empathize and,
Yeah,
and
they
really
get
get it
it.
because they
Yeah.
walk through it. But for somebody to be like, okay, but it's somebody else's trauma. It's like this
What are
guy
you
was,
talking
yeah, what
about?
it's not, you're
Aren't you
not the
just
murderer.
get
This guy's
sketchy, man?
that you're playing is you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, try to compartmentalize that kind of stuff.
Beautiful. Using
Yeah,
your mind, you imagining.
yeah.
Anyway, I'm talking about how you hear. How do you step out of characters that you play? Not specifically for this one, Shaka, because I think
Hmm.
we we went through it
Yeah,
in length,
yeah,
and you have other beautiful
yeah.
characters you played. How do you step out of those characters?
So coming from two lessons, the one was the Heath Ledger one that I touched on,
Yeah.
and another one there was a really amazing story that I heard about one of my favorite actors, Leonardo DiCaprio,
Hmm.
when he was shooting in South Africa. They were doing Blood Diamond, so
Yeah.
I had the fortune of meeting and working with some people that worked with him, and they said Leo is like a robot. He's on and off.
Hmm.
So he'll literally, at the time, Blackberries were hot. He'd be on his
Not Black
Blackberry.
Bear.
Yeah. BBMing. I don't know
Yeah.
what Leonardo DiCaprio does on a.
You know BBM? You look so young though.
Yeah, it's the baby face. No, my ears are not as young as my
Okay,
youth.
okay.
I'm gonna milk
I
this
believe you.
baby face forever. So Leo's on his BBM doing
Yeah.
his thing, and literally they say board in, whatever, 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 and then when they say action, he puts the phone, and then he just transforms in and out.
Whoa.
So I really learned from that, and he's had a very illustrious, long career. No problems, nothing.
Mm.
He's never in papers for like mental health things. So I
Mm.
was like, okay, I must steal something from his school.
Yeah.
So for me, I like to do that. I walk in and out of it
Mm.
for when the scene requires it. So like a lot of people will tell you, oh, I don't know if they'll tell you, but like for example, on the Shaka show, I will literally be cracking jokes
Yeah.
seconds before the board comes in, and as it comes in, I'm now saying "Ooh, Shaka," and then
Yeah.
as they say cut, I go back to the thing, and I
But what
find
can't what did you have to do to be that way though?
I don't
Because not
know,
a lot of people can do that. Sort of dissociates because you're
yeah,
laughing one moment and one moment you're serious and you're in character.
I don't know. It just happens. I wish I had a really cool explanation for you.
Yeah.
But for me, it just happens, which is why I think I'd gravitated towards this job, and I really was able to thrive in this space because it's something that kind of
Mm.
comes naturally for me. I don't have to
Mm.
like really
Mm.
force it and try, too much. Obviously, you have to put in the work and learn the necessary things to either learn the character, the
Mm.
accents, the languages, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but once that work is done, the rest of it, I don't. Yeah, it's
Mm,
just
that's really beautiful. What
yeah,
has been your favorite project to work on till date? I know that's unfair,
yeah,
but you
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
No,
like have to pick one for the
Shaka
purpose of this
takes okay.
video.
Besides Shaka, because I mean, I think it's too easy
Yeah.
of an answer. There was a film I did a couple of years back,
Mm-hmm.
just before I moved to Johannesburg, called Beyond the River,
Mm-hmm.
which is the reason why I moved to Joburg. That film opened me up in so many ways. It found me my current agent, MLA, who I'd built, at the time before Monine passed away. I'd built a really great relationship with her
Mm-hmm.
through that movie
Yeah.
because she was the casting director there, and it opened my eyes to Johannesburg. I met okay, I don't know Babo Puti, Israel Matseka. So I don't know. I just call him my orange. I don't.
Yeah.
I've never called him Babo, but I know he's a father.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I met him, who's been one of my kind of grounding points here in Johannesburg
Mm-hmm.
for actors because he's somebody that's been in the industry for a very long time.
Yeah.
Whenever I have problems, I'll hit him up and he just tells me, "No, my boy, this is Joburg," things like this, like that. I met a lot of great people, and it just taught me. the sport of canoeing, which is an
Mm.
incredibly hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It looks so much easier, but it's
I know,
literally,
right?
it's like learning to ride a bike. Seeing people on bicycles is like, oh, it's just foot
That's
in front of you're
easier. The
balancing the
control.
you're it's a
I
whole
get that.
thing. And it really just opened my eyes to how beautiful Joburg is,
Mm.
because also coming from a small town in Bangeni,
Mm.
Joburg was this crazy like
Mm.
place where like when you land, they're
Yeah.
gonna mug you.
Mm.
And if you get in the industry, you'll be on drugs. Like, it
Yeah.
was just this. It had
Mm.
all these scary kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But that movie, because half of it was shot here, kind of eased me into Joburg and realized, hey, actually, this place, yeah, Pile,
Yeah,
there's
it's
really
not
nice
such a bad
people. There's a
place.
thriving industry.
Mm.
So yeah, I really love that movie.
Mm. And growing up as with your parents being in ministry, believers, did you say they were pastors?
Yes, full time.
Pastors. How was that like?
Whew,
How was your world like? And what affected you? What got you excited? Yeah, how was that like?
we went to church every day. Every day, literally. I
Yeah.
think Monday was home cell, Tuesday was prayer, Wednesday was, I think, youth, Thursday was worship team practice,
Yeah.
Friday there was something else. I think there was like a whole night prayers. Saturday we practiced again with the worship team
Yeah.
for Sunday, and then Sunday's church. So like literally I went to church
7 days a week.
every single day of my life. It's like all I knew growing up.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely impacted me in a very positive way. I find, there's a lot of teachings that I found growing up in the church. A lot of things have really helped shape my moral compass, and really just my way of thinking in life. I think it's really helped me. And a lot of people are always like, "Oh, you're so wise." Well, I'm like, I'm not really wise. I'm just applying the stuff I was taught
From the
growing up.
Bible.
It's not. I'm just
Yeah.
going by the ABCs. It's
Yeah.
not. I haven't created anything
Mm-hmm.
new. But I think those teachings have really helped guide me and shape me into a sober-minded adult that's able to navigate life without being a problem in
Yeah.
society
Yeah.
to the people around me.
Give me two of those
Two,
things that the Bible
two
taught
of
you.
the okay. I must really think about this. Uh,
Even just one.
no. I wanna give like meaningful things. I mean, there's the
Okay.
obvious ones. Um, I think forgiveness is the one that
Mm.
like yo.
You deep, my man.
No, but
You went right there.
yeah,
I
it's
love.
a very necessary thing,
Mm.
because people will do you wrong in
Mm.
life. Many people that are close to you will betray you, friends, people you care about,
Mm.
family, And I think really being able to forgive people is something that it's such an important thing that's helped me like kind of relieve a
Mm.
burden off of me, because
Mm.
there's many times where like you've been deeply hurt by people and you hold on to pain
Yeah.
for a very long time, and
Mm.
that, I mean, it's on you,
Yeah.
it's your pain.
It
the
kills
other the other
you.
person can
Mm.
heal and move on, and you're
Mm.
just there, uyahlela ngaphakathi.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
think that's one of the most important things.
Sure.
And I think just like compassion,
Mm.
for people. I've definitely got. I think it's one of the things that helps me do my job is an empathy for people. I'm not saying that I always act on it in the best way. I'm not a Mother Teresa who
Yeah.
things, but I can feel people's pain,
Yeah.
and it does hurt me when I do see people in situations that are not ideal. And
Yeah.
one day, once I'm blessed enough and as rich as Elon, I'm gonna touch as many people as I can
And what
that
do you
need
mean?
money. Well,
Touch a lot of people as you
I think a
can.
lot of the problems that I see with people are a lot based on finance.
Mm.
Especially as a black person in South Africa,
Yeah.
um, the living conditions of a lot of people, the day to day struggles. All the time I get these SMSs from not SMSs, like inboxes and emails from like all these people all around because of obviously being in the public figure. Hey, I'm short of school fees, what,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
man, I earn like an actor. I wish, I
Yeah.
wish I
I wish
could.
I could
In my heart, I
help.
would. And
Yeah.
one day, once I'm in a position to be able to do all that stuff and to help all those people, I'll do
Yeah.
that. Um, and yeah, man, I just wish I had the resources to help,
To help.
alleviate those, and just fix our society in the ways that we can. There's so many
Yeah.
problems that we have
Yeah.
in our society that are literally just solvable
Yeah.
through monetary things. I
Mm.
think like a huge influx of cash into very underprivileged areas could really limit where crime is, because there are a lot of abantu abagangayo just because
Just
baganga,
because,
but
yeah.
a lot of them are also there out of necessity,
Mm.
of feeding their families. So I'll try get rid of all those things to just, and all of that stuff. I mean, if South Africa didn't have crime, the economy could blow up, because whenever I
Mm.
travel, I realize how much crime affects our country.
Mm.
I was in Kenya, and their economy runs 24/7, because shop owners aren't worried that after
Really?
10 somebody's going to come with a gun.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so shops are
beautiful.
running till midnight. People are walking on the
Mm.
street. The city literally doesn't sleep.
Kenya?
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
been.
It's
Okay.
a beautiful, beautiful
Mm.
place. So it's like, in a lot of other countries that I've been to that don't have as much of a crime problem, they have that, and that allows people to make money at night and during the
Yeah.
day, and that
Yeah.
can also help. So kind of right now, it's the chicken and egg thing, where the crime is causing more poverty because we can't make more money and the
Yeah.
economy can't, and it's just a
Oh,
snake eating its tail.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's been beautiful getting to know you. I've realized that you're not shy. You can come across as shy. You're
yeah,
not shy. You're just an empath.
yeah. I'm an introverted. Like,
You
I
just
stay in my
feel too
bubble until.
deeply.
Yeah, I do, I
Yeah.
do, I do.
And that's beautiful.
In a
It
way,
means that the veil is thin.
yeah.
You can communicate with God easily.
Yes, yes, yes. That
Oh,
that
I
I
can't
do.
wait for the future. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Can you play a game?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go. What's the game?
It's called story juggling.
Okay.
You start the story of any kind about anything.
Ooh,
It doesn't matter. When you
okay.
already start the story, then I'm going to throw random words at you and you have to incorporate them into your story.
So I'm narrating the
Yes,
story.
you're narrating the story, then I throw you with random words and then you put those
Okay.
words into your story. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Let's go.
When you're ready.
Once upon a time,
Mm-hmm.
there was. I'm waiting for the word. I don't
No,
know what
just
I'm gonna
keep
talk about.
going until
Okay.
I interrupt you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once upon a time, there
Mm-hmm.
was a man that wrote this very interesting book
Coffee.
called the Coffee Book, which had a lot of stories about different brews of coffee,
Goat milk.
and the types of milk you could mix them with in order to create extravagant and amazing flavors. And goat milk happens to be one of the greatest inventions that he had. He called it the goat puccino, which
Doll.
doll,
Doll.
which when he started playing dolls with his daughter, he realized that she loved it as much as he did. So they were sitting on a small table sharing this goat puccino.
Puke.
And obviously, because it's goat milk, the little girl didn't like it and she threw up. And her father, very concerned, ran to the bathroom immediately to fetch a towel to help her with this
Goat.
goat milk on the floor.
Donkey.
And she was stubborn as a donkey, the little girl was. But the father, being the loving man he was, persuaded her to follow her to the bathroom so she could shower.
Bread.
And after she showered, he saw she was still hungry. So he, he brought her some bread.
Baby powder.
How you go from bread to baby powder? And the breadcrumbs
Yeah.
were so fine. It looked like baby powder falling falling off of it as she took a bite from the bread. And
The end.
the end. I don't know. You threw me off with baby powder. I was like,
No, but it was good.
yeah, yeah,
Those
no,
are the moments we live for.
yeah, yeah. I tried
The
to.
ones we don't see coming.
No, it's very true.
Thank you so much. Any last words?
Um, no, I'm always bad with this stuff. Kids stay in school.
Stay in school.
Yes, and pass and listen to your parents.
Yeah.
And parents, be good to your kids. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's very wise. You're an old soul. Are you?
I don't know. I think so. It's my first time here, I think. I hope. Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like, comment, share, and let us know what you think of the conversation. Remember, we are available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts too. We'll see you guys in the next episode.